first and the teams first.
Welcome to Pardon the Transit, your weekly astrology game tape and life playbook. I'm your cosmic coach and cheerleader, Manny, and I'm here to break down what the fuck is happening in the skies because it's been a lot, but we're going to show you how to use this week's plays so that your life, business, and creativity stay on the offense. So imagine if your favorite spiritual girly and your favorite ESPN bro had a baby. This is what it is, the highlight reel for your week. Before we begin, quick disclaimer, I am not a certified professional astrologer. I am a fan, pattern recognition fiend, and I am an intuitive reader and most likely the girl who will read your birth chart at a birthday party. So, what I share here is purely subjective for entertainment purposes with the intention of showing you how to apply some of these lovely transits and shifts into your day to day life and help you with your goal setting, your creative projects, and flow, and to get the damn thing done. I'm your girl. So let's pause for a moment because we need to celebrate. The Falcons won, baby. Let's go. I could care less about what anyone says about the Falcons because I am manifesting it right now, guys. Let's say it. We're going to win. We're going to make it to the Super Bowl. I don't care. I don't even know the quarterback name. Regardless, let's jump into this week's game plan. We are in the middle of a eclipse season. You may be asking yourself, what the heck does an eclipse mean? A eclipse is what I consider a portal. It is a time where all of the energies are really disruptive and it's calling for you to get into alignment to who you genuinely are and where it is that you are meant to go in life. They're really great for energetic re-ups, energetic recalibrations, or honestly, throwing the whole thing into the trash can and starting all over again. So, last eclipse that we had was on September 7th. We had a Pisces eclipse. And Pisces is the sign that's super dreamy, intuitive, very much neither here nor there. And best believe that's my rising sign. So, am I dreamy? Am I so elusive? Am I really into escapism and being in the stars? Yes, I know I'm working on that. What this eclipse was asking us to do was to understand where we were pouring our energy too freely, where our own energetic leaks are, and the boundaries that we need to place on them, and how we tend to go towards escapism rather than doing the damn thing. The last eclipse season was in March of this year, and now we're experiencing it again in September. As I said, the energy is high, it is chaotic. But if you had learned to master the flow, master your own energetic rhythm and momentum, this is basically riding a current up to the highest version of yourself. Yeah, honestly, to the highest version of yourself. The energies are there for you to be able to call in the things that you need, for you to make quick pivots. And if you learn how to capitalize on the energies of the eclipse while also taking care of your nervous system, I've learned the hard way. Taking care of your nervous system, you can get a lot done. And honestly, collapse time. More on that later. Pisces is the sign that ruled over the previous eclipse. As I said, Pisces is all about our dreams, our emotions, our intuition. It is the expansiveness of life and love, but no boundaries. So yeah, I seep into a lot of things and I get it and I get in trouble a lot for that. But regardless, if you are still experiencing any of these feelings, feel free to wiggle your toes, get grounded, take a deep breath, and get back in bounds, baby, because the game has to continue. But if we are really thinking about the energy from the September 7th eclipse and how that translates into this week, well, let me tell you guys something. We have another one, which is on September 21st, AKA this upcoming Sunday, and it's in the sign of Virgo. So, what's my play call here? Use the clarity that you got on September 7th or that week, or honestly, leading up until now, to prep for Virgo's opposite energy. Virgo is the sister sign of Pisces, and I love my Virgos because Pisces can feel so deeply and get into something. A Virgo is great to help you be like, okay, cool. Now, what are we going to do with this? Like, we have to ground it. So, I do love having Virgos in my life. They can be very mean, and a lot of them have IBS. So, We'll go more into that as well. Regardless, the energy that you'll experience with Virgo's eclipse is all about discipline, integration, and structure. Pisces is flow, Virgo is structure. So now let's get into what the F is happening this week. On Monday, September 15th, we have Venus sextiling Mars. What does that mean? Venus is a planet of love, harmony, and beauty, and she is currently in the sign of Leo. So very dramatic, very much courageous and bold and very expressive. A sextile is a potential. I describe this as the energies are favorable for you if you choose to align to it. And that energy is trying to align you to is taking action, which is a planet Mars. As a Scorpio stellium, Mars is my favorite. My Venus is also in Scorpio. So I'm all about Mars, but Mars is also beating my ass all the time because I get in trouble there. More on that later. Regardless, Venus and Leo sextiling Mars and Libra, Libra being a sign that's all about beauty and harmony and connection, is really asking us to do the following. How can I be as bold, expressive, and magnetic, but do that shit in motion, baby? And that really will then translate to showcasing how you are creatively expressing yourself while also being charming in it. Because Libras are very charming. I don't think I've ever met a Libra that wasn't charming. Sad days. But, anyways, the big cue here is to make sure your actions are aligning with your values because Venus loves when you align with what feels good. I see Venus as a planet that will amplify, beautify the things that we find inherent value and worth in. So if you are at a job that you are not liking and Venus, she's not going to come. That's like coming to a house and being like, damn, you live like this. You get what I mean? So collectively, what we'll be seeing here is that there will be a push towards working with one another. Libra is all about harmony and connection, and Venus being in Leo, which is about leadership, being risky, it's really asking us to do the damn thing, but making sure that we're not, leading with our ego and more so leading with how can we both work with one another in a way where we both can shine, right? So, something to note here. A lot of the times, while the energies are great to help us provide direction and clarity for how we build out our day, they also do give us cues for how we can cue our body to relax or at least put reminders there. So, the big reminder here are your shoulders because Mars is also the planet of aggression, heat, frustration, conflict, and stress and tension. So, whenever we are in that energy, we may tend to raise our shoulders up. And so, I recommend is to do shoulder rolls between tasks. Honestly, being able to allow your shoulders to lift up, to drop it down, and breathe. So here are Manny's play calls for this lovely Monday transit. Life is asking you, where can I blend my passion and partnerships in a way that's harmonious and can fuel both of us? For your own business or your creative practice, think about ways that you can co create with people who align with your values and inherent worth. Don't do solo sprints. This is all about harmony. Teamwork makes the dream work. For your creativity, think about ways that you can collab this week and use that as your form of currency. Think about ways that you can cross collab with other people across different mediums or blending multiple ideas together to create something, I don't know, like this astrology, life planning, me showing my pretty face. You get the gist, right? And remember, for your own well being, soften. It's Monday. Monday is ruled by the moon. And she will always ask us to take a deep breath and relax and know that it is never that serious. Anyways, if you are looking for a tool that will be able to help you make sense of how you can direct your momentum a little bit with more intention and clarity and ease of mind and ease of body, try using my Groove tool. Groove stands for glitch. What kind of messed you up? Like, what was that? Like, something short circuited you. So find that out. Then we have which is reminder. Reminder is always going to be a intention you set for yourself for how you will not get your wires crossed anymore. O is observation. What did you notice within your body or outside or any kind of cues that may help you make sense of what the fuck happened in G, that glitch? Then we have O, and this is omen or oh man, depending on your POV. But this is really that shift, that click moment of your day when you kind of really make sense of what the fuck happened earlier with that G. Then V is your vibrational upgrade. Think about ways that you can up level your frequency. Either that's going for a walk, eating a favorite meal, listening to high vibrational music, or honestly, just taking a nap. That helps sometimes. And then E is exit. How are you going to kick that bad boy out? No longer doing shit that drains us. We're only doing things that fuel us. We're only consuming things that feel good. And we are releasing what doesn't serve. And on Thursday, we have Mercury leaving the sign of Virgo and going into Libra. So, Mercury is a planet of communication, our thoughts, our lovely mind, and it really focuses on just getting the clear answer. And Mercury is very analytical. It really shows us our thought process on something. And with it being in the sign of Virgo currently and now shifting into Libra this Thursday, it will actually change our frame of mind. And I'll get more into that in the later segment. Virgo is actually the home sign of Mercury. So if you felt like over the last few weeks your mental processing has been a little bit more sharper than usual, that could be it. However, with it moving into Libra now, Libra is a sign that I consider a bridge. It is the harmonizer, the connector, the I see you, I feel you, like, let me do something for you. So, what you'll experience on a collective front is our conversations are going to go from more of a thinking to harmonizing. What's the vibe? How are we doing here? So, here are some of my play calls for how to navigate this lovely transit. Number one, life is asking us to say it with softness, to maybe take a step back before we lash out at someone and think about how our words are actually going to be translated and what that impact is. From a business perspective, really think about how you can beautify your contracts, your conversations, your collaborations with the goal of building trust, not trying to cash out because we don't do one sided relationships here. No, we don't. Creatively, this is a really great way of being able to find harmony with your structure and flow. So, thinking about how you can pitch to someone where you're able to articulate the points that need to come across, but maybe in a charming way and really think about how you are building out your creative practice that fits a more harmonious lifestyle than a I need to get it done hustle kind of culture lifestyle. If you're looking for a tool that will really help you bridge the gap between the structure thinking and the rigidity of Mercury, but in the beautiful, lovely, harmonious sign of Libra, I recommend my confidence system, which is devotion, decisiveness, and reinforcement. Devotion is a daily act that you do for yourself. So that's a little bit more on the masculine side. And the decisiveness is doing the actual thing, just picking it and executing on it. However, this is where the reinforcement part of the formula comes in. Because the reinforcement part and the practice I recommend for you guys on this day and through this transit is to repeat words that help you build trust and also watch the words that you say about yourself. Because if you don't really speak well about yourself, that bridge is already cut before it hits your mouth or leaves your mouth. Then on Friday, we have Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and harmony, switching from the lovely Leo, which I liked, to Virgo. So now really think about how Venus and Leo was like, woo, so expressive and bold. Now we have Venus and Virgo, which is like, we got to reel it in, baby. And let's get really refined and really cute about how we refine this and how we choose to love and to bridge and to showcase the tasks that we actually have to do in order to hold space for the love that we want and the connection and also really start being a little bit more discerning and intentional with what we allow in and what we give out. So collectively, what we'll feel on this level is focus on service. Leo is what I consider the really outgoing kid, but Virgo is like the team player who is the project manager, but with love. The goal here is service over grand gestures. What that basically means is Really think about the details that you believe will matter when it comes to how you show and receive love. And also, care is consistent, intentional, and very practical. From a somatic cue point, something to watch out here. I have noticed that when planets are typically in Virgo, or at least the sun right now is in Virgo, we're in Virgo season. Virgo is really about control. Well, I don't want to say control. They really want to know what's happening. They need to know the plan. They're very organized and detailed. And I find that when I have a lack of clarity, I literally ball my hands up like this, which is not good. It is not good because we have radiant points that then go up to here, and we have points that go up to here that then make our trap so tense. So, as you finish your task, maybe do a little hand exercise or grab one of those balls that would be able to roll out your wrist as well as your palms and just start stretching your fingers because that feels so good. So, what are Manny's play calls for this transit? Number one, show the little things in your life a little bit of love because that is what Virgo really shines in. They focus a lot on the tiny details and they pour a lot into those tiny details because that's their act of devotion. So ask yourself, how can I use my daily task or my day to day items or mundane shit that I always put off? How can I make it pretty? How can I make it cute? How can I build rituals out of it? They're very ritual focused and also very important to consider. Virgo rules are lovely digestion systems. So think about ways in which you can show love to some of the food that you eat and how you nourish yourself and what information you are consuming in your day-to-day life. Like really take a look at that information and see, how is it draining me? Is it nourishing me? Like, where am I able to maybe show more love in areas of my life where this type of practice or ritual helps me better integrate information that I experience from day to day. So, a really good example of this is I have a really hard time eating and slowing down. I am like a very fast eater. Like, I think I take two bites and I swallow. But then I get a tummy ache because I didn't slow down. So, I would always tell myself that I need to chew 30 times, or maybe is it 32? One of those numbers. One of those numbers. I have to chew multiple times so that the actual food digest. And I kid you not, I've actually had some of my best ideas as I'm like on bite number 20. I do like it's a lot. Like I never realized how many times you're supposed to bite before we swallow. But that's the point. When you're able to allow yourself to be fully present in what you are consuming and how it is nourishing you, that allows for the speed up of other information to start infiltrating, integrating, and making its way up to your mind for clarity. For your business, you already know what I'm going to say. You got to get organized, systems, SOPs, documentation, workflows. Also, for your contracts, get very nitpicky in terms of what is on there and what's not. Get your invoices paid, get the details down onto paper. For your creativity, refine. This actually is a beautiful example of that, given that this has been something that I've used for my own practice and I have shared, but I've shared that through a black screen and white text. And this is my way of showcasing my refinement or up level and using the eclipse energy to elevate myself. Anyways, think more around ways that you would be able to refine your own creative processes and workflows that allow you to really nurture an idea while hitting a deadline. The goal here is really think about what you currently have and clean house. Because think about it, we have a South Node, which is a point of release eclipse that's happening this Sunday. So you want to make sure that you clear space for your creative practice, for your creativity in general, so that more clarity can come in, more refinement, precision can be executed on, and you're not really burning yourself out because that's also a very big thing with Virgos, burnout. So don't burn out. The tool that I would use, as I said, is my groove method. Specifically, turn to it whenever you are trying to get back into the momentum after experiencing something that crossed your wires. So when you give your mind a assignment, because again, Virgo is ruled by the planet Mercury. Naturally, it's in its mind. It really helps you be able to say, hey, mind, I'm going to give my mind this assignment to build out GROOVE, but I will allow my body and my being to experience the day and then document it. I find that that's helped me really like tell my mind like, "Hey girl, it's okay up there. Like we're figuring it out. Relax." While my body already knows what to do and is able to enjoy itself. Then on Sundays, we have the South Node Eclipse in Virgo. And as I said, it is a reality check. It's going to hurt. However, it is needed so that more things can come in. What I mean by reality check is that we are really in a week of focusing on our collaborations, our partnerships, thinking about ways that we can bring harmony and connection while also being really detailed oriented and understanding our own constraints. So, if you are the type of person who loves to take it all on, you may be hit with a moment of, I actually can't do it all. Like, I need to drop something, and this is the worst possible time and moment to do that. So, I would recommend rather than waiting until this Sunday to do that, try thinking about ways that you'd be able to slowly refine and release parts of your life, your work, or just your day to day operations or rituals or routines that really clog you up and slow you down. And think about things that really do not fit this new version of yourself. So the eclipse back on September 7th was showing you where you were kind of escaping responsibility, or again, not necessarily escaping responsibility, allowing yourself to bleed into too many things that may not have been so aligned with you. So it is now asking you to release and also consider then that whatever you ended up releasing then is then what you will think about in terms of the partnerships or the type of thing that you want to bring in with a lot more refinement and clarity now. You kind of went through what you don't want, and we are working towards things that we do want. However, we're cleaning up house. So all the little like things that fell through the cracks, the energy leaks, the energy drains, they're going to be slipped and you're going to have a karmic purge. So, what I recommend on Sunday is to rest, is to do something that really feels good. Really think about ways that you can beautify and really love your daily mundane tasks. It'll help you kind of integrate the information. So, as I said, collective play here, audit. I'm so sorry. We got to audit. We have to audit our systems. We have to be disciplined. This is a really big week of not just being disciplined in our work and creative practice, but in our well being. Virgo is all about routines, rituals, our health, literally understanding the fact that you cannot show up as your best version of yourself if you are hungry, if you're sleep deprived, if you are not feeling your best or looking your best. So, the somatic thing I would always say for this one is your gut. Deep, deep belly breaths, or at least place a hand on your gut while you're eating and breathe into it so you can digest. My play call here is to clear out what doesn't serve you. It is really scary sometimes to remove the things that we know we don't want because we're afraid of what we may not receive as a result, or we don't know what the outstanding circumstances are. But that's the actual exciting part of life. And we're also in eclipse season. So think about ways that you can either reimagine what you are willing to release and go out there and start talking to people because Venus in Virgo will help you with this. So it won't hurt as much. And you'll may kind of come up with a really great breakthrough in this moment because you cleared house. Creatively and for your business, as I said, refine and audit your systems and your rituals. We don't need anything new. What we need to do is to clear out anything that isn't serving us, isn't efficient, or can be a little clunky. So think about ways that you can streamline a lot of the flows that you have within your day or even simply documenting it. And your well-being, your gut, I consider it your emotional brain. And if you are eating poorly, not enough like I do sometimes, or a little bit too overeating, anything of that nature that really will kind of slow down your overall digestion process. You may not be ready to take in all of this lovely energy here that actually is going to shift you into the right timeline, into the thing that you're meant to do. So, really think about ways that you can clear your gut, like truly clear system, like out the other end. Yo, that's what I mean too. But enough about that. Enough about that. And what I recommend here is to use my tide system. What triggered me What do I intend to do differently? How am I decoding or integrating that into my life? So, what changes am I having to make or shifts within my mindset, within my physical, emotional body, or in my day to day life? What rituals and systems do I need to enact so that that trigger doesn't happen again? And then E is to express that. How are we going to express it? How are we going to share that with people? How are we going to memorialize it, honor it? I always recommend some form of release, aka transmutation, so that that lovely emotion and experience that we had can be gone and out of our body. So, quick halftime recap in terms of what to expect this week. As I said, we recently had a Pisces eclipse, which showed us our emotional weeks and where we needed to place more boundaries. This week, we have the follow up to that, but with its sister sign, Virgo, which is on Sunday, September 21st. Now she's asking us for the receipts. She said, did you get rid of those people or places or things that were draining your energy? Because if not, I'm going to take it away. She is. And we have two signs that are switching houses and planets. So Venus moves into Virgo. So we're really focused on refining the ways that we share love with others and we're in service of one another. And Mercury leaves Virgo, which is super analytical, to Libra, which is so harmonious, all about balance. I consider that the judge, and it is my natal Mercury. Now let's break down a actual transit switch up that I believe is slept on while everybody's so focused on the eclipse season. As I said, Mercury and Libra and Venus and Virgo are doing a house swap. Mercury, the planet of thinking, is moving into Libra, while Venus, the planet of love, harmony, and expression, is moving into Virgo. The best way I could describe this for you all is saying it's like if Beyonce and Jay-Z traded jobs for a week. So Beyonce is now running Rock Nation and Jay-Z is choreographing the next act of Beyonce. So it's like unexpected, but it kind of works, right? Because they both get each other and they just do things a little bit differently. So let me explain. As I said, Mercury moves into Libra on the 18th. What happens here is that our mind moves from thinking, purely structured, separate, very much in the mind, to harmonizing. Harmonizing is external as well. So it's bringing in other people, other experiences, other sensations, your body, and really using that to understand what's the vibe. What is this? What's the vibe? So words now become bridges, right? Because Libra is naturally ruled by the planet Venus, which is expression, is our bridge that translates our inner world to the outside reality. In this transit, it's asking us to build a relationship with the ways that we think and speak. So, really slowing down, as I am trying to do really, really hard here, and really turn our mental focus into am I bridging or am I dividing? Then the next day, September 19th, Venus moves into Virgo. Venus wants to love, but in details and devotion to your daily rituals, to the care and the mundane. It's not a big declaration. It's about how you tend to your life and how you tend to it consistently, how you do it where you are refining and you're not just romanticizing life. Like it's really grounded in care and reciprocity. So, the nuance here and why I consider it being slept on is because you're thinking, right? You're thinking, your Mercury sign, and harmonizing, aka Venus, are working double duty, kind of, right? One is teaching us how to bridge our words with others, and the other one is teaching us how to embody devotion, aka Venus and Virgo, but through our actions. So, the invitation I truly see here is to realize how we can understand the ways in which we digest information literally and metaphorically, as I was saying, because integration requires your mind and your body, and they need to be working together so that the words can actually come out in a way that feels true to you. So, what's my play call here? As I said, practice pausing before you speak. Pause before you speak. Like, I feel like that's something that we were taught growing up, but then all of a sudden we stopped. I know I did. Gonna be real. So, as I said, ask yourself every time, does this build or break a bridge? And sometimes bridges need to break to fall, as Fergie said. Take it as you will. Regardless, for your business, focus on small acts of service that you can do that helps you build trust with your partners, with your clients, with your customers, your audience. Think about ways that you can showcase devotion in the way that you care for them, show support for them, build things for them, give them an inside look into how intentional you are with the things that you share and do. For your creative practice, make art from refinement, not perfectionism. I'm just going to leave that there because we already know what that means. We know what that means. And for your well being, don't track what you just eat. Really think about what conversations and thoughts are sitting with you. Like, anchor that shit in because a lot of times I find that there are a few offhanded comments or things that pop up that we don't really pay mind to until 2, 3 weeks down the line, and then something else surfaces back up, and then all of a sudden, that one thing that we forgot about that we didn't think about back then pops up, and you're like, "I should have known, and I could have stopped this from happening." So really, really document. Think about the things that feel good, don't feel good, things that make you slight pauses, slight micro adjustments where you're like, the more that you can catch yourself shifting out of alignment when certain thoughts or words are spoken to you or about you, it helps you pick up on a lot of things that are not necessarily expressed, but are energetically projected. I'm going to leave that as there. Energetically projected is. Now, I'm in the hot seat. So, how does all of this loveliness that's happening this week translate to my personal chart? And what are some things I'm going to do and not do, or maybe fuck around and see what happens? So, as I said, I am a Pisces rising. So the eclipse that happened on Sunday really showed me, you know who you are, quit playing small and show the people who you actually are because I'm going to keep closing doors until you do. And I'm listening. So this is what this podcast is doing. And with Venus moving into Virgo, something I will be working on is really refining my creative practices, the content that I release, and understanding the workflows I need to refine so that I can scope, build, execute, draft, and put that shit out. Just, you know what I mean? Just like I know this process already, just actually haven't sat down and documented it and created the right workflows. And if I want to up level into this star that I am, then I have to be able to get it all done because I like to live my life. And as I said, with me having a natal Mercury and Libra, which is in my eighth house, the house of investments and partnerships, collaborations, but also death, sex, rebirth, personal power, is really asking me to refine my communications and my partnerships. Especially as I'm now transitioning into understanding the role I want to play and the authority I choose to hold and operate from, I now have to see how that authority translates to my sister sign, which is my seventh house of my one on one partnerships, my business partnerships, life partnerships, romantic partnerships, things of that nature. So I have to get really clear and kind of outline what works, what doesn't work, and then really start thinking about ways in which I place high expectations on myself and my partners on the ways that I expect them or myself to show up. So I got to be a little slow, like the Mercury and Libra asking me to really slow down and listen, sit with it, let it integrate with my lovely Venus and Virgo. And then my Pisces rising is going to be like, okay, let's do it and just go with it. I have to find my right flow moment and be able to execute when it's needed. The other thing that's happening, Venus is sextiling Mars. So with Venus sextiling Mars, collectively, it's a really good day to just be flirty, ask that girl or guy out, do something really, again, like fun and with others and in life and community. And so how that lands in my chart is that Leo has been in my sixth house of daily life rituals, my life work, also like struggles, and showing me how to kind of really bring my inner radiance outward. Now, with it being a sextile, which is again, the energies are potential when they mix together. Mars being in Libra of my eighth house is really asking me now, how do I want to showcase my wisdom and knowledge and the transformational insights that I got from all my crash outs into some actual productive thing. And that's this, my way of really thinking about how I can tell all the things that I do from a work perspective with a creative, fun twist to it. All right. And that's all for this week's Pardon the Transit. So, quick reminders: find your ground, refine your rituals, use your words wisely, and use your words to build bridges, not walls. Let your care show up in a way that's small and devotional, and integration over initiation. Like, really let that shit sink in, babes. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Part in the Transit. I'm Manny, your coach and your cosmic cheerleader. Now go out there and manifest your best week. Okay, bye.